Hey guys, I'm here with you, a dear friend of mine, Steve Sipress. He actually comes over from the Rhino Daily podcast. This is Steve's first podcast where he's using his phone. So looking forward to Steve. Actually, we got him technology side of things. If Steve can get on here and do this, anybody can. That's for damn sure. Steve, man, tell us about what you're doing in the backyard, just chilling out, and how you actually got there, and how did you start out with entrepreneurism?
Which one do you want me to say first? How I got here? I walked outside of my room, my office where I'm working, and walked out by the pool, and I'm hanging out.
The sunny Arizona. You're calling it Phoenix, Arizona, right, Steve?
Yeah, it's actually unbelievably cloudy today. There is no sun anywhere to be seen, but how could I complain? This is February, and I lived 15 years in Chicago before I moved here. I'm sure I'd be shoveling 10 feet of snow today. So loving life, having a beautiful time out by the pool, and even better now that I'm talking to you.
Well, see, I know you as one of the people I look up to as far as like branding and marketing and stuff like that. I know that you tore me a new one the other day, which is pretty saying it mildly, which is very much appreciated, by the way. But if you're going to go back and like when you first got started.
Well, now, here's the thing. You say tore you a new one, but first of all, I thought I was being pretty nice. I mean, for me, known as Straight Talk Steve. Second of all, who would you rather point out some of the mistakes that you're making with your marketing, me, or once you start spending money and try and get it out there to an audience, and then you get crickets and nobody responds?
Absolutely, and that's why I say I appreciate it dearly, brother, because you did a great justice to me, I think, and I was like, man, I went back to the drawing board. I was like, all right, let me get rid of this, and that. And that's the thing. One of the first things I want to kind of bring up is having somebody outside yourself actually look at what you're doing, but also have somebody that has professional and background, such as yourself. I know you've helped run like Dan Kennedy events for a long time, and you've been on stages for 20, 30 years doing this business and doing branding and marketing. So it's talking to somebody who's an authority on that and making sure you're open enough to actually receive that feedback, because there's a lot of people out there who are basically somewhat they'll be turned off because it's like you're talking about my ugly baby, you know what I mean? And you're like, no, it's not an ugly baby kind of thing. It's like you want to get that point across to them that they're, in a nice, gentle way at the same time. Sometimes people like take it personally. So I know myself, I don't take things personally at all. I love it when people give me feedback like you did. So,
well, you're a Marine.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a Marine, so that factors into it.
I will say, though, I have for over 30 years helping thousands of small business owners, and I ask them all the same question: would you like me to candy coat everything I'm about to say and really ease it to you with a little comfort puppy and some crayons and some coloring books, or would you like me to just tell you straight out how it is? And I've never once had a business owner say, oh, please be all politically correct and nice and sweet and honey on it and, drip it to me nicely. Like, they're like, yeah, tell me how it is. So that's why I appreciate working with small business owners, with entrepreneurs. Like, let's tell it how it is. And again, because I've been there. I, just like you're saying, I remember, going to the courses and getting the books and sitting down and open up the manuals and right now, my very first sales letter I ever wrote out, and I was so proud of it. I was like, look at this. I followed all the 1, 2, 3, all the steps, all the whatever. And then I proudly brought it to a group of marketers. I had joined a group, they called it the mastermind group, because it's multiple minds getting together to one. And, all these were seasoned veterans. That's why I paid good money, more than I really had, and joined the group. And I remember driving up there. I was all excited. I was like, I'm going to show them my letter, and they're going to, congratulate me on how great it is. This is great. Maybe give me a couple of tips, and we're ready to get this thing in the mail and make money. And okay, so I passed it around, and holy moly, the pens came out. They were like crossing out whole pages, like, this is crap. What are you doing here? Take this out. This sucks. No, this is totally wrong. I mean, they just totally destroyed the entire thing. But then, of course, they were like, but here's what you've got to do instead. Go back to the drawing board. You didn't pay attention to chapter 2, where you're going over this course where it said this. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're okay. And that, I drove back home with my tail between my legs. with this letter all crossed out and marked up, and these guys were just, railing into me. But I was so thankful that I taken my good money out and put this thing in the mail, and then gotten no response. My phone would have not rung. I would have wasted that money, wasted those few weeks of waiting for the phone to ring and not knowing what to do. So the money paid off. I redid the letter. I went back the next month to the next meeting, and they were like, yeah, much better. Made a few tweaks, got that thing in the mail, and the phone rang. So I've been there. And yeah, it sucked to get all beat up like that, but I'm a big boy. I dust myself off, and actually that's what I want. And then I put the good stuff out there. And hopefully that's what happens to you and the stuff you showed me yesterday, that you make a little few tweaks and you have great results.
Absolutely. And I know, Steve, I appreciate that. And that's exactly why. So when did you first get started with doing entrepreneurship? What was your kind of first venture into being an entrepreneur? How did you get started in doing what you're doing now?
Well, we probably all started as a kid. Very first thing I remember was collecting bottles. I think we could. Somebody figured out. I never came up with an idea, but I always executed the idea. So these kids were like, "Oh, look, these bottles. You get a penny when you. That'll date me a little bit, other than just looking at me." And they're like, "You get a penny when you bring these bottles back to the store." And we could ride our bikes all over town and pick them up out of garbage cans and get some money. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, everyone, they were like, this is an idea. I've always been, when someone says it's a good idea, I'm the one who says, let's go do it. And I did that. So we would drive around on our bike and pick up bottles and get 10, 20 cents, buy some baseball cards or, a tennis ball or whatever, and go have some fun. So that's probably the first thing I did as a kid. And then you do all that kind of stuff and, paper route and all those things. And even my high school job, I was a food vendor walking around Madison Square Garden selling popcorn and peanuts and sodas and whatever, and it was pure commission. So it's a real entrepreneurial thing. You either work and make money or you stay home and you don't. There was no 9 to 5, whatever. My dad was a self-employed, he was a salesperson first, working from home, making his own schedule. Then he became an entrepreneur, but he always made his own schedule. And do you think I ever said, oh, I'm going to dream of a 9 to 5 job? I always wanted that kind of freedom. So there I was, my first real multi-million-dollar business. My first business I started, I was still a student in school, and it's over, 30-something years ago. I got together a group of friends, and I put together what is now well known as a fantasy sports league, which at the time we all thought I invented this game. And I got my friends together, and we had a draft of the players, and we thought that was really cool, and we could trade them and watch their scoring. And I made up all the newsletters, and I kept track of all the statistics and kept track of all the trades and lineups and all that stuff. And did this all for fun for a couple of years. And, I had to start running 2 leagues even, because everyone's friend wanted to start joining and their family, and everyone was telling everyone about it. And then I graduated. This was law school. I graduated law school, and I didn't want to become a lawyer. It helped that I then flunked the bar exam, so that helped not only give me a kick in the butt to not do anything half-assed ever again, but it taught me, like, yeah, now go figure out what you do want to do. And one of the guys from my law school that had been in my leagues brought me a little ad from an obscure sports magazine and said, you're not going to believe this. There are people charging money to do what you do, to run these leagues as a business instead of just a hobby. Why don't you give that a shot? And I said, what the heck? I'll give it a shot. And actually went back to my high school job. I went back to Madison Square Garden, sold crap, walking up and down food, walking up and down the stadium for a few weeks to get some money so I could go print up some brochures and place that ad in that obscure magazine and get the phone ringing. And sure enough, people were joining the game and playing. And, I brought in over $100,000 in a few weeks just getting that one little ad out there. And I was off and running. And within 3 years, it was a multi-million-dollar business. It was the largest in the industry. And there I was, never looked back. I never said I'm going to work for somebody or be a lawyer or any of that crap. I said, let's be an entrepreneur, run some businesses. And I screwed that one up and started another one and another one. I mean, why not? Only live once. Let's work.
Multi-millionaire, but you're going to remember, what was the time frame? Like, how old were you and what year was it?
Well, since that was, I started when I was 24, graduated law school when I was 25, or 24, whatever it was. And so 25, I really turned the thing into, or 26, whatever it was, I turned the thing into a money-making thing. And I ran it for 7 years, did all kinds of things wrong. I had no business school or business training or any of that stuff. And I had made so many seat-of-my-pants mistakes. A lot of times success is a really bad teacher. because I had this hubris that, the thing keeps doubling in size every year, and it's the largest in the industry, so I must be a superstar. And along came a baseball lockout. So instead of a strike where the players won't play, this is the owners saying the players can't play, whatever it was. We're canceling the baseball season. Happened in February 1991 or 2 or something, after like 6-7 years of this thing. And suddenly nobody was sending in any money to join my baseball game. The whole baseball season was going to be canceled. Now, of course, they solved the lockout like after 1 week into the season. But anyone who's played fantasy sports knows that now it's too late to join the game. Or even if they do, I had already put out over 6 figures in ads and brochures. There was no internet back then. This is the 80s, 90s, the early 90s. There was no internet. Everything was printed brochures. I mean, I had 3-color brochures and letters and packages going out to 5,000 people, whatever. I had ads running for thousands of dollars. Nobody responded because the season's going to be canceled. And all that money out the window. When they solved this lockout, they were like, yep, that's good. We're going to start the games in a few days. I'm like, that's not enough time for me to get the message back out through the mail, print up brochures, get it out there, adjust all the games and the rules and whatever, and get everyone sending money. And the whole thing kind of collapsed. And long story short, when I was running my business based on sports seasons, there is no other season that's starting again until football is going to start. The money would start coming in August, and the season would start in September. So I now had to somehow pay all my employees and my overhead and all my computers and phone systems and copying machines and printers and everything I had to run the business for what? For March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 months with no money coming in. That wasn't going to work. And so I had to get rid of some people. I could only place smaller ads. Basically the whole thing just started tumbling down, and very soon it was gone. But learned some valuable lessons there. And I certainly, it's the second best thing happened. So the first great thing was flunking that bar exam, which I only missed by 1 point. But thankfully I missed it, because otherwise I might have gone and been miserable and been a lawyer, working in an office somewhere, slaving away in a firm, trying to kiss everyone's butt to make partner and all the crap I knew my friends were doing, and they hated it. And have, my favorite thing, what did I used to say about not being a lawyer? Boy, it's been like years since anyone asked me, how come you didn't, become a lawyer when you had your law degree? And I'm like, well, let's see. You have to go to a guy you don't respect, who's the judge, and call him your honor. And he's corrupt. And then you have to go to your opposing counsel, and they're a corrupt lawyer, and you have to call my esteemed brethren. And then you have to look at the jury full of people with no teeth who are unemployed, because they're the only ones that are going to make it to a jury for a couple of weeks. You can go ladies and gentlemen. So, come on now. Who wants to be brown-nosing and doing all that BS for a living all the time? And then you have to defend your client who is guilty and say, oh, he's not guilty, and get him off. So I hated the whole game. I don't want to play it. So, I love the entrepreneur world, but it has, as we just described, some ups and downs, right? So the first lesson from the flunk in the bar exam is, I never went to school. I never studied. I was running my game. I was working full time. I was goofing around, having a lot of fun. And I was going to a top law school. I had always been an honor student, got top grades without ever having to study. That really doesn't work when it comes to the bar exam. So I slid through all the years of college and law school somehow. But the bar exam kicked my butt, and I said, that's it. I made a decision right there. I'm never going to do anything half-assed again. I'm going to go full out 100%, not 3 years of law school without showing up to class, and then go work full-time all summer in a summer job while everyone else is full-time studying for the bar exam. And then I just went in and said, I'll just wing it. I mean, I've never flunked an exam in my life. Oops, there you go. So taught me a lesson. And then when I did run that business, man, I worked it like as if I was like Donald Trump being the president, for crying out loud. People are seeing what an entrepreneur does now in the White House. The guy never sleeps. He works 20 hours a day. I don't agree with probably 90% of the stuff he's doing. He's a maniac, but I mean, he's working all the time. So that's what an entrepreneur does, and that's what I did. And that's thanks to flunking the bar exam. Otherwise, I probably would have tried to half-ass a business, and that never works. Then the second best thing happened to me is screwing up that business. I once had an offer from a venture capitalist. He wanted to give me $1.75 million for 45% of the company. I didn't know anything about business. There was no Shark Tank show. I had no idea about this equity and shares or whatever. And I was like, why would I give up almost half my business? It's doubling in size every year. In a few years, it'll be worth $10 million. And then somebody give me a lot more money for it. Well, I could have used that cash. I was bootstrapping the whole thing. And that's no way to continue to keep running a business. And then especially when that strike hit, it just killed me. I had nothing behind me. So, learned another lesson there and I learned some warning signs of when business is going real well, that you still got to look. And I know now, and I've helped entrepreneurs for the last 20 something years to see these warning signs when everything's going well. I can spot warning signs that you got to watch out for, or else the whole thing that's rolling and rolling can come crashing down and take everything with it. I mean, I lost everything when that business crashed. And I don't just mean my house and my car, my business and my employees and any money I had and anything. I mean, I lost all my pride, my self-worth. I mean, here I was acting like I was Mr. Big Shot. Hey, I don't have to have a job like all you guys. I got my own business. I do whatever I want. I'm making all this money. I'm number one in the industry. Man, I went into hiding and didn't even want to be seen. I was so depressed and so ashamed. And all my friends and family had been in my leagues. They were my original people in the leagues. And now I had crashed the whole thing. And so I took that real personally. As business owners, a lot of times we even say things like, oh, it's my baby. Like we take our business so personally. Another thing I learned, your business is not your baby. Your baby's your baby. If you have kids, your kids are your kids. Your business is not. Your business, there's only one purpose to start a business, and that's to sell the business. That's it. There's only one purpose for any asset. It's to buy it, improve it, and then sell it. And so this whole, we just got through, thankfully, 8 years of this. You didn't build that regime because that's a lot of crap. Of course you build that. That whole socialist saying of you didn't build that because, you use the internet and the roads and the bridges and the cars and the society. And so that's how you were successful. I'm like, you know what? Every 9-to-5 worker drives on those roads and they have the internet and they have the bridges and they have the housing and the society, whatever you're talking about, but they don't take all those assets, put them all together and turn them into something better. Only an entrepreneur does that. Only a business owner does that. Yeah. We build that. We take all that stuff and we don't just use it and go drink beer all weekend and have fun. We go work all the time and we use the stuff and we turn it into something better. That's an entrepreneur. It needs to be celebrated, not beat down by you didn't build that crap. So now we've broken free from that. At least we got an entrepreneur in the White House. At least he says, I want to help small business, everything, whatever else he's doing. I'm like, whatever, we'll recover. We're American. We'll get over whatever else he's doing. All I want to take those shackles off the business owners, and it's just mental shackles. Just celebrate us and let us go do our thing, and we'll do our thing, and we'll make things a better place. So when we're doing all that, and we're having success, I guess now I'm finally getting to your question, the outside eyes. We are not going to be able to see what's wrong in our business a lot of the time. Second of all, especially if we're not the expert in it. Somebody out there who is an expert in being an HVAC, a heating and air conditioning guy, somehow he also thinks he's the expert in accounting. Is he the expert in hiring? Is he the expert in placing ads? Is he the expert in ordering supplies? But when the business starts, he might be doing all that stuff. But as soon as possible, get somebody who's actually an expert to do all that stuff. Number one, they actually love doing it. Where a lot of those behind-the-scenes part of your business, you don't enjoy doing. You do them because you have to. And number two, since they do love doing them, and that's what they do, they probably do it a heck of a lot better than we do. My accountant's a heck of a lot better at bookkeeping and accounting than I am. Okay, my attorney's better at all legal crap I got to deal with than I am. My tax guy's better at taxes than I am. I might have done this stuff when I first started. I had to do everything. But now I got people, when it comes to marketing and advertising, that's what I do. I got clients in every kind of conceivable business all over the world, in every conceivable country. I just brought in a guy, a new client from India. We're like, okay, he's 13 hours different than me. We were like, what time is it? Well, in half an hour it'll be this. Okay, that, whatever. We'll make it happen. We'll deal with it. I'll help him over there. And he's a doctor. The cool thing is he's helping people all over the place in this local area in India. I can never do that. First of all, I'm not a doctor. I'm not about to go to school to be a doctor. I'm even afraid of my own blood. I'm not going to be a doctor. However, thanks to this client allowing me to help him with his marketing, instead of getting the word out to just a few people to help in his area, he's going to start to help a lot of people in his area. So I get this vicarious thrill by being these outside eyes like you, and I help you with your marketing stuff. That's going to have an effect that you're going to bring in more clients. And I know what you do for people because you did it for me. You're going to help transform people and get the crap that's blocking them, that's inside their head. You'll help them get out of their head. I get a little, see, even my own phone rings off the hook all the time, like, because of, cut it out. I'm on a thing here with Daryl. So wherever it is, outside eyes, yeah. I mean, recognize what you don't do well and get somebody who does it well. You know, and I'll leave you with this. Here's a joke that I have with my friends, family. Friends come over the house, and my wife is always giving them the honey-do list because I don't know what I'm doing to fix anything. So they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that, and I can fix that, and I can fix that. Steve, where's your toolbox? I'm like, I tools. Like, I'll tell you what, and with this one tool, I can get everything fixed in my entire house. It's only one tool. Speaking to you on right now. Okay, I pick up the phone, I call an expert, and in the time that the guy comes over and charges me a few $100 and fixes whatever the heck a thing is, and then goes back, I have, I don't know, sent out an email, sold a bunch of stuff, and made like 10 times the money it takes to pay for the guy. So I'm going to do my sales and marketing, and I'm going to bring in the guy to put in the new disposal and to fix the washer dryer, and to get the pool guy and the gardening guy, this guy, that guy. I'm sure I could learn how to put chemicals in this pool and get the water to come out right or whatever. Come on now. I'm not an expert. My pool guy does. I talk to him. Oh, I've been doing this, loves this. He's everything good about it. Well, in your business, stop trying to do all the things because, release some of the control. We love control. That's why we own our own business. But release some of that control. When you put guys out in the field and go out, say you're back to, what did I say, plumber, HVAC, whatever guy you are, and you get 5 calls coming in and you send out 5 different crews to do the jobs. I hope you don't go out there and think you're going to install all the sinks and toilets and boilers and landscaping and roofing and whatever it is you do. Like, you get the very best guys. I hear it all the time from business owners. Oh, it's tough to find good help. Like, they insist on finding, top-notch guys to go be their electricians in the field and do their drywall and do their stuff. But then behind the scenes, they don't insist on the very top guys. They let the sales rep come in from the money mailer and go, yeah, just give me your $500 and don't worry, we'll make up the ad for you. Like, that guy's not the top marketing guy. He doesn't know how to make up the top ad. Like, and then, a month later, he comes back to renew it for the next month and they go, well, that ad didn't work. And they're going to blame something like, well, you've got to run it for several months, or you got to have a bigger ad. You only had a half page. That's all the ad.
You need to buy more.
To put that ad in. What's that?
You need to buy more.
That's the answer. That's, I did for 3.5 years. I worked as a sales rep and a consultant to small business owners with a Yellow Pay company, and that was the standard training. I couldn't believe the BS. I almost got kicked out of the training because I would argue with everything the training guy was saying. But the routine at the Yellow Page is if they place a half-page ad and it doesn't work, you just tell them, you should have placed a full-page ad. Come on now, let's do it. Like, that is retarded. If you got no calls with a half page, you're going to get what, double the no calls? Like, you got like 3 calls.
You're going to increase your no calls.
I went to the manager all the time. Like, how about you to have some training instead of all it is sales training, how to sell, how to twist people's arm and fool them into buying a bigger ad every year until they finally, give up and go, well, now it's the biggest ad. Now what are they going to say? And the rep sits there and goes, I got nothing to say. They cancel their ad. Although here's the thing, they don't cancel their ad, now they cut their ad. They go, see, that big ad didn't work, I'm going back to my half page. Like, no.
Not good at that.
Then the next year they go, that's not working, I'm cutting down to a quarter page. I'm like, look, do not put an ad on TV, radio, internet, don't put up a website, don't send out a postcard, don't do anything if you're not going to do it right. Save your money. Get an expert. Call me. Don't call somebody else. I'm not making a sales pitch. Call somebody else then. But get an expert who lives and breathes advertising and marketing and knows what works and knows what doesn't work to help you with your stuff. Get someone have as much respect for your business behind the scenes as you do in front of the scenes. You would never send out a crappy guy to go put in some kitchen remodeling that would do a crappy job. You would never do that. So what's going on behind the scenes of your business? Have respect for your business. Second of all, that's where the money is. Have respect for where the money is. You can do more of your kitchen remodeling or lawyering or whatever you do if you have better marketing. So I hear from business owners all the time, oh, I just want to help people. Well, I'm not here to sell and to market. I want to help people. Like, well, can't you help twice as many people if you have better marketing? If you open up a second location, if you can treat more patients, like, come on, I'll cut the crap. Get somebody who knows what they're doing to do some marketing and go make some money, help more people, give more away, do whatever you want with it. But the money is in the marketing and the advertising. If you got an excellent product or service, then making it like 1% better and more excellent, is that suddenly going to bring you lots more money? Is that what you're thinking? Like, how about improving the marketing end of the business? That's where the money is. As you can see, I love marketing.
I love marketing. I love marketing, buddy, with Steve Sipress. That's where we're at right now. So, Steve, what are some of the most craziest, things you've actually seen come in from clients? They were like, I've tried to do all these things. And what is one of the craziest marketing stories you could share with us?
Unfortunately, it's all the same, because what it comes from, I just shared, one is like letting the media, whether it's a newspaper, radio, let them write the script, let them do the ad. Like, that's crazy. Okay. You're going to get an ad that looks the same as everybody else's. So I would go around for the Yellow Pages, and the guy would go, the ad isn't working. I go, that's because your ad sucks. And he go, first I went through the whole, would you like me to candy code or just tell you straight out? He goes, tell you straight out. I go, okay, your ad sucks. And he go, whoa, that is straight out. But he go, but no, not, because it's the same as every other one. So what are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. They all look the same and they all suck. He goes, well, they can't all suck because this guy's run this ad for 10 years. It keeps renewing. I'm like, wow, if you could just just drive around with me for one day, because every single advertiser will say the same thing as you. And if I called every one of these guys up and they were honest with you, they would tell you, my ad sucks. I don't make any money from it. But the sales rep, we're really good at renewing crappy ads. And one of the ways we renew it is we tell you, when you say, maybe my ad's no good, you go, no, it's just like everybody else, and they love their ads. So this is the crap they pull on you when you all renew. But however, I'll take your ad and I will make it a little better, even if it's smaller. So let's make it smaller, sure, but I'll still take lots of calls from all the other ones, because it's what's in the ad that's going to matter, not just the size of the ad. And then next year I'll come back and you say, okay, now that you've proven that it's what's in the ad that matters, now let's go back and make it really big, and we'll take all the calls from everybody. And the sales reps hated me. I'm telling you, it was really bad. I thought they were joking. Once there was a big rep. He'd been there like 30 years. He had the biggest advertisers in the book, because they get the full pages. I was an upstart new guy, got little ads, and I took some little plumber's ad. I'll never forget that. Little plumber's ad, and I fixed it, and he was getting tons of calls. Well, where do you think those calls were coming from? You think more people were opening up the Yellow Pages that year than the previous year? No, they were calling my ad instead of all the others. So I had stumbled onto this unwritten scheme of the Yellow Pages, this conspiracy, that if every ad looks the same, they all suck equally and they all keep renewing. But if they made one ad so much better, then all these other advertisers, what would they say? Whoa, gee, no one's using the Yellow Pages anymore. I'm not getting any calls. I'm going to cancel my ad. And suddenly, this guy comes up to me, and he was big. And he stopped me in the hall, and he said, hey, because I had this is what it was. We just came out of a sales meeting where I was celebrated for my results of this ad. We had put in a tracking number. Company always wanted to put a tracking number into my ad. It's a number that's different than the number of the company, but it's tracked by a computer, and they can tell how many calls it gets. And I had hundreds and hundreds of calls for this tiny little ad. They were like, I can't believe it. And I walked out of that meeting. This big rep stopped me in the hall. He goes, don't do that. Stop doing that. I had just been celebrating, and everyone was clapping and whatever. And I go, yeah, that's funny. I thought he was being sarcastic. And, because he's supposed to say congratulations. I thought. So I went to go by him. He shifted to the side and stopped me. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'm telling you, seriously, stop doing it. And I was like, stop doing what? He's like, stop making up these better ads. Small. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, all right, here's the thing. You see this guy? And he had a book on him. He said, see this plumber? That's my guy. And you see this plumber? That's also my guy. And you see what's happening? Where do you think the calls are coming from? They're getting no calls right now. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to cancel their ads. I got 3 kids. I got to put food on the table. You are taking food off of my table. So stop doing it. I was like, holy crap. I hate this place. Where am I, in the Twilight Zone? Like, I love small business owners. These sales reps hate small business owners. That's how they. So if you're advertising, no matter, I don't care if it's radio, TV. I mean, we're recording this the day after the Super Bowl. Okay, the Super Bowl is just on. That is a complete, like, the companies just threw away $5 million for 30 seconds. And even right this minute, if I asked you, tell me 10 commercials you saw yesterday. You watched the whole game, didn't you?
Yep, watched the whole game.
Commercials.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you 10. I could maybe tell you 2.
Tell me your favorite 5. It was yesterday. It was 20.
It was less than 24 hours. I liked the Anheuser-Busch one, but I'd actually seen that one previously.
Right, of course. I like the Rhino one because I got the Rhino Daily Podcast, the Rhino Monthly Magazine, the Rhino Daily Blog. So there was one with the rhinos chasing the lady. That was my favorite one. I don't know what it was for.
I couldn't even tell you. I don't know. Yeah. And then the Mr. Clean one was kind of funny. That was about it.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one before, but that was it. Other than that,
I don't remember the ads. I do remember one thing. There were no Doritos commercials. So the smartest advertising yesterday, the smartest company in America yesterday was Doritos. Look,
Doritos won the Super Bowl challenge ad. They didn't run it.
Yeah, they're going to look at their sales results from 2017, and they're going to compare them to 2016 when they threw away like $30 million on the Super Bowl, and they're going to see no difference in the sales of Doritos. And they're the winners. They're going to realize all that time and money and energy to come up with because they think their job is to entertain America. So I thank them. We laughed a few times, and those ads were entertaining. Some of them were depressing and stupid. I was like, what the hell was that? We looked at each other like, what was that? What is that for? I mean, there goes $5 million. Like, come on now. So that's crazy. Letting the reps make up your ad is crazy. They're all going to make the ads the same, so you all suck equally, and they keep getting your money and sucking it out of your pocket, but they don't care about you. Anyone here ever place an ad? Think about it. Did you ever place an ad? Do you think the sales rep got paid based on your results of the ad? Is that how you think they got? I lobbied for that. When I was at the Yellow Pages, I said, you pay all the commission is based on the size of the ad, if we put color in the ad, and all that kind of crap. You came back a year later and you took all these tracking numbers and you said, we're going to pay extra commission for the ads that work the best, or we're going to get feedback from the advertisers and we want them to tell us how well the ads did, and the ones that are happy, we're going to pay those reps more money. Why can't you base some of the commission on customer feedback? Yeah, how far do you think that went with that company? It was like, don't be ridiculous. So
that grill in the hallway probably stopped that from happening.
Yeah. Bill would have. Now I said, I didn't say his last name, but yeah, he would have crushed me. He was bigger than you. I needed you. If I had you with me, he would have stepped aside. But, I would say, this is a Marine and a linebacker. You better step aside. Okay, but so I had to leave. I stepped aside. But here's the deal: the second you sign that contract, I've been there. Okay, I just told you about my multi-million-dollar fantasy sports game company. I had a lot of ads. I had the biggest ones in the industry. I placed a lot of ads. I signed on that dotted line, and sure, the guy said this many people go by this billboard, and this many people listen to this radio show, and this many people, read this magazine, and I'll get on the first page of Google guaranteed, and all that. You sign, you hand over the check, and you hope it works. They get paid. They get paid whether it works for you or not. That is a crappy system. This is your money. You don't get paid unless it works. They get paid even if it doesn't. My clients get a guarantee. I don't know any other marketing consultant that guarantees a client. Every one of my clients gets a guaranteed 3-to-1 ROI, or else I give them their money back. So you're going to make 3 times whatever you pay me to be my client, or I give you money back. I put my money where my mouth is, period. And of course, I can guarantee 3 because my clients get 5, 10, 20, 100 times. And so I guarantee 3 because it sounds good. If I guaranteed 50, it would scare you. But those are usually the results I get for people. So crappy system is to place ads where you just think you're entertaining people. That's the whole Super Bowl deal. Or you can't track them, so you don't know. Doritos will find out now that not advertising the Super Bowl didn't matter. So don't place ads where you can't track the results. Don't place ads where you're making up the ad yourself. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not an advertising expert, or if you are letting the rep make it up, and he's a salesperson, believe me, he's not an advertising expert. Oh, and by the way, the people making up the Yellow Page ads that actually put the ads together, they sucked too. And I used to go to the manager all the time, and he would just tell me, go, look, we've been through this. You know, they're right out of graphic school, and they make 30 grand a year, and like they're not experts in how to make an ad that works. So you're welcome to go into the room, you sit right next to them, and you tell them how you want the ad made up. Well, I would go, okay, great. Like, I have time for this. But of course, for my clients, I got time for this. But shouldn't I be selling? Like, I'm a salesman. Don't you want me out seeing clients? I got to come in and teach lessons to your ridiculous graphics people. You stop, or maybe I should stop my ads running while I'm doing one. So, you know, I would go in, I would sit next to the ad person, and I'll never forget this. She one time, I'll say her name. She looked at me. She said, you know, I hate your ads. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, they violate every rule of yellow page advertising. You know, they're not centered. They don't look good. They don't have a lot of white space. I'm like, white space? So that was another game. Like, you know, the reps are convincing advertisers to pay for white space, because then I think, what was it? It was like, the words will be easy to read if there's more white space around them. I'm like, you're kidding me. You're getting people to pay for white space. It doesn't sell. And last time I checked, I never had one person, and if I asked them, hey, why'd you call my company instead of another? It's because of that white space. Like, white space doesn't sell, okay? Marketing sells. Put some words. I'm pretty sure in that white space, I could have put a testimonial from a happy client. That would have sold something. That could have gotten me a call. Your white space ain't getting no calls. The fact that your ads are all centered and they look nice and they got a nice picture of a truck and there's a nice picture of a clip art guy with a wrench because he's a plumber, and you know, all the bullet points are lined up. Like, cut the crap. Like, none of that stuff is why somebody calls. So get somebody who knows why people respond to stuff and get them to do your advertising and marketing. And if I was on here and I was an accountant, I could tell you all this stuff about your accounting, and I would say, get an accountant to look over the 7 bazillion pages of the tax code, because what, are you going to sit there and go over 7 bazillion pages of the tax code? Isn't that unbelievably complex? Don't you get the H&R Block guy or somebody? Well, that's what I am for marketing. You think marketing's so simple. I give my business card to the rep, and then they make up an ad, and it looks like everybody else, and that's great. That's crap, okay? Get your ad to somebody like me, and I will make up something that works.
All right.
Period.
See, we got the 3-to-1 guarantee. Where do they go to get it? How they can get more information about you? And then we're cutting you off.
Man, find me on all social media. You know, find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, or whatever you want to do. My website is just my name, stevesipress.com. You can go to, I have 2 different podcasts. You can go to rhinodaily.com. You can go to, I have a new podcast we've been doing for a little less than a year called Lessons Learned from DonaldTrump.com. Love him or hate his policies or whatever. The guy is a marketing machine. Obviously, it's how he won the presidency. And every week we teach a different lesson. My partner Everett and I, we teach a lesson on what you can learn from the crazy stuff Trump is doing, on how you can do that with your business and make money. There's all kinds of ways to find it. Just go to Google and type my name, and you'll come up with all kinds of stuff. You know, but find me and let's talk. I'll get on the phone. In fact, I'll tell you right here's what I'll do. Go to helpfromsteve.com, and for your, I usually give this out only, I'll give this out to you. Go to helpfromsteve.com, and I'll give a free half an hour strategy session, consultation, whatever you want to call it, with any people that are watching this or listening to it or whatever you're doing with it right now. Obviously, I can't do a lot of these, so first come, first serve. Go there, give me a little bit of information. We'll get on the phone. Not much I can do in half an hour, but I'll help you any way I can.
What was that? What was that link, Steve? So I can put it in the show notes for everybody.
Helpfromsteve.com.
Helpfromsteve.com, guys.
Yeah, be a good marketer. Get a website like that.
Very straight to the point. Yeah.
You know, if I was a lawyer, I would give you Flershenbein, Strabinowitz, and Rabovsky.com, and you wouldn't even know what the hell. So cut that out. Put helpfromalawyer.com, helpfromseattlelawyer.com. I'm sure it's available if that's where you are. And like, put that as your website and get some results. There's a little specific free tip for it.
That's free tips. Get your 3-to-1 guarantee with Steve Sipress. Thanks a lot, Steve. Appreciate it.
That's only if I accept you as a client, which is very rare. Most of the time, I'll just help you. I'm not interested in taking on lots of clients. You got to really, there's lots of things you
mess up your pool time outside, hanging out by the pool. It'd be too much.
I can't guarantee 3-to-1 results are for the wrong people that aren't going to take the right actions, that don't have an excellent product or service, that don't really care about their clients. I mean, I got to really check people out. But if I accept you as a client, yeah, you're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you.
Thank you.